Buenas tardes, bienvenidos a ¿Qué pasa, Mujer? Welcome to ¿Qué pasa, Mujer? We are here every Sunday at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Estamos aquí todos los domingos a las 4 de la tarde y hoy ya vimos a nuestra invitada un segundito, pero hoy Mari no está con nosotros hoy, pero Nari, Nikte está de regreso con nosotros, so estamos super excited that Nikki is back. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Mark, you can bring Nikki on so we can kind of talk about what she's been what she's been up to. Ooh, that's such a nice background. ¿Qué pasa, QP?
¿Qué pasa? Coupe.
Because it's a question.
I love my new name. What is it? Nadi?
Nadi?
Nikki and Maddie? Nadi?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man. It is good to be back.
What's going on? Welcome back.
Yeah, I have like the weird, what is it called? Virtual background because we're officially moved out. We have not had our furniture, I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks. I don't know. But in the end, it'll be almost a month and a half without our stuff. So we've been to the bare bones.
That's cool.
In the middle of a move. Yes, fun times. It's been very hectic, very stressful. A lot of things have happened, a lot of bad things, but we know every move, it's kind of like, como dicen la ley de moves, deployments, always something crazy happens. So we're just rolling with the punches and we're to the point where like, oh, okay, well, we were expecting it and we just move forward and making the best of what we have. So we've been just enjoying time. Yesterday we went to a flea market, which was really cool to get out of the house and do different things. It was really nice. And we didn't find this flea market until, right as we're about to leave. So it was kind of sad, but we're making the best of it. So it's kind of the things that we've learned. You always make the best of the situations that you're in and you look forward. So yeah, we're in the midpoint of the move, and then hopefully we'll be settled in our new place. Who knows how long from now? Yeah. It's kind of one of those things. Yeah, we're in the limbo and we just make the best of being in the limbo in this nice little virtual space. So yeah, it's been good to be back. It's been weird not being here for so long, but just mentally I wasn't there. Y luego, like all the craziness behind the scenes, it would have been too much. So I'm excited to be back.
So now you're less than 3 hour difference from me, but soon you'll be really
6 hours.
Way off.
Yes. Okay. So I'll definitely be in a very much good morning time difference. And you guys will definitely be farther in the future with the 6 hour difference.
We'll tell you about it.
Yes, you'll have to inform me cómo está el futuro para prepararme.
Oh my God. So Maddie's not here because I think she's doing a poetry competition.
In a competition, yeah.
So of course we'll hear about it. We'll hear all about it next time that she's on. So this particular week, Nick Day, so I've been kind of reaching out to women that I don't necessarily know, but I've just been looking for just, women that are doing things, Latina women that are doing things, whether it's locally where I'm at or even other places. And so, I start to stalk them on social media and see what they're about. And, I'll schedule a phone call and then we'll talk. And, if the vibe is good, then you just kind of move forward. So we've selected just a handful of women that we thought would be a good fit not necessarily a good fit, but somebody that is aligned with, what we do here on the show, which is to empower other Latinos, right? and even
Mhm.
we've had guests that are not Latinos, but just
Mhm.
anything about positivity, because we really haven't brought any negative that I could think of.
Yeah.
And even sometimes like stuff happens and you guys, the audience, don't even realize. Like today, our guest, like her camera wasn't working, her
Oh,
voice wasn't working, and then
oh.
I took a little nap, and then I woke up. I meant to wake up an hour before the show started, but then it was like 10 minutes till, and I was like, oh my god, I still look like I'm asleep.
No, you
um
don't. You look
no,
fine.
we did 5 minutes ago though, before we came on. So, like, luckily we had tech issues with our guest because it gave time for my eyes and face to acclimate to
And then I
the
was in
show.
late because it took me forever to log in, so it was, like, one after the other,
Yeah.
but we are here.
Yeah, we are here. Um, so our guest, and Mark, you can bring her on. Her name is Magali Ledesma. I found Magali super interesting because it kind of actually reminded me of Nicte. Hola Magali, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, hola, buenas
Hola,
tardes, muy bien, ¿y
Magali.
todos qué tal?
Bien,
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 gracias.
bienvenida.
So she's a little
Thank
disappointed,
you.
just to let the world know, because her computer camera wasn't working. So this is her from her cell phone. So
From my cell phone,
whenever
I'm
she's with
sorry.
us,
If I move a lot, I'm sorry.
No, it
yeah,
looks great. It looks
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. So I
Thank
told
you.
her this is just what we do on the show. Just things come up. So we were all about solution driven versus, we tried multiple things, it didn't work. So we just tried a different device and it worked. So she's here. So welcome, Magali, to Que Pasa Mujer.
Thank you,
Um,
thank you.
thank you. So like Magali's a realtor, right? But that's not who she is in all. That's just who she is now. So Magali, I wanted you to tell us a little bit about your path as to how you got here. So and then Nikte will kind of tell you a little bit because you guys have some stuff in common about how old you were when you got to the States and how was that transition, to make the adjustment from being in wherever country you came from and then coming here and you were young, like 18, 19, to be like, oh my god, what's going on here, how do I do this, the fears of, or if you had fears, because not everybody feels fear, the fears maybe that you had or the support or maybe some of the struggles that you had, because then we're going to talk about who you are today and how you've been able to make the transition over to who you are today, Magali, not just the realtor.
Oh no, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for inviting me, first of all. Thank you. Thank you for your time. And I know we had difficulties, but we are on and thank you so much.
Yes.
Well, I'm Magali. Uh, I was born and raised in Mexico. Like I grew up in Mexico. And when I was 19, that's when I came here, to the US. My mom, she came here when I was like 14 years old. So, it took me time to leave everything behind and be, because at that age, of course, you are young, you don't know. Like it's rebelde. You are like, no, like I don't want to go. I don't know anyone there. I don't want to leave what I have here, to go there and do what. So and then, like I said, it took me a few years to realize and to be like, okay, you know what? Okay, I mean, it's still here. I don't have much, I don't have a lot, or I don't have what I want. So I came here when I was 19 years old, like everyone else, like I had to work like different jobs. Was a babysitter for, a few years. Then I decided, look, okay, like what else? I mean, this is not what I want to do. Work in a company, in a factory, as a labor, like a lot of Latinos, cuando vienes aquí, tienes que trabajar y trabajar y trabajar. And it was really hard because it was outside, like wintertime, snowing, raining. I mean, you were working outside, like in the summertime, 100 degrees, we're sweating outside and still working, So it was difficult. It was a challenge. It was a transition. It was so difficult, but I worked there for a couple of years too, and then I told myself like I don't want to do this for like the rest of my life, or I don't want to be stuck here. And then I decided like, okay, you know what? Let me get my GED because I didn't speak English, I didn't go to school here. So I was like, okay, what do I do? Like this is not who I want to be. So my first step was to take my GED. And I was like, well, let me take it in English because if I'm going to be here, this is a challenge. Let me just take the challenge the way it is. And I remember everyone was like, no, it's really hard. You won't pass it. Like, and I'm not saying that they don't support you, but they were, like being honest and being like, hey, this is hard. I mean, you don't speak the language. If you fail, don't feel disappointed. And I was like, well, I won't fail. So I did it. I took it and I passed it, and I was really proud of myself. I was like, okay, this isn't a even you say like, oh, that's something simple, but for me, it was an accomplishment. And I decided to do that. I took that. I was like, well, what can I do? What else can I do? So then I started, like taking English classes and, trying to speak more. But let's be honest, when you come here, I mean, you don't talk the language. And la primera cosa is to fear my accent. Or, I mean, yes, there's a lot of racismo and a lot of things, muchas cosas que they push you behind. Like, okay, like she said, a lot of fears. And one of my fears was that, like, oh, es que yo no hablo bien el inglés. Es que, like, maybe no puedo. So son
Mhm.
cosas que te detienen. And then I was like, okay, let me just learn a little bit more. And as I was learning, I was like, okay, how can I help someone else, what I'm learning? Maybe no les puedo enseñar porque I'm not really good at teaching people, pero maybe I can help them. And
So let me ask
maybe
you a question before you keep going a little bit. So your parents or your mom came here when you were 14, but it took you finally when you were 18
19,
you decided to
yeah.
come. So you stayed in Mexico while your mom was here.
Yeah, I stay there by myself with my brother and my sister. I have well, she will always be my little sister. She was 7 years at the time.
And how so are you the oldest?
No, my brother, but he's just 1 year older than me. So
Wow.
yeah, it was
So
just the three
did
of
you have
us.
family support in Mexico, or were you with an adult, or it was just three of you just
I mean, life, in another countries is different than here.
yeah,
Like over there, tienes 7, 8 years old, and you already have to be,
working?
mature. You already
Mhm.
have to be like, okay, you are old enough to know how to do these things. I
Yeah.
remember I was 7 when my little sister was born. And I mean, I was telling my kids, I have 3 kids, and they 11, 9, and I have a baby, a 1 year old baby. And I was telling them like, okay, you need to learn how to cambiar un pañal, because sometimes I'm busy and I'm doing things, and I need to change his diaper, but I'm just like, okay. And I was telling them that like at your age, I was already taking my little sister to school, like tomando el camión, like 45 to 1 hour camino and all that. And I mean, you don't realize that cuando estás en tu país, and to like at that age, you already an adult, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. The 10-year-old from here is different from the 10-year-old in our
Yeah,
country because, like you
yeah,
said, it's a responsibility. And I think, and which is part of the concern that we have here in the United States with young people that they just feel entitled, like, oh, it's because it's just kind of given to us. But
yeah.
I kind of like that. Out of everything that you said so far, what highlighted the most for me, that speaks a lot about your personality and who you are, like your character, is that you were like, I'm gonna take the test in English, like I don't care even if I don't speak the language. I
Yeah.
think that really talks about who you are, and the perseverance, the persistence that you have, that you carry, and I'm sure that you're transferring over to your children. And I just think that that's what's awesome about the story so far that you have told us, that you didn't
Thank
give
you.
up, and you have faced many obstacles. I when I was in Colombia, I didn't have to work, at your age. Like the stuff that you have done from from 0 to 18 compares nothing to what I had to do from 0 to 18. Like I didn't have to work, right? I worked
Yeah.
when I was 15 because it was an option at my school, and I was already here in the United States. So I haven't experienced that struggle. But I know that there's a restaurant that I go to here all the time, and one of the waitresses, we kind of became friendly, and she said, Viviana, at 5 years old, I was already selling bread, like in my neighborhood, because it was a lot. She had a lot of brothers and sisters, and everybody had to contribute to the household. So I guess, I don't know, I guess she would get the bread from mom or whatever, and then she would just go down the street to all the neighborhoods and she would sell the bread at 5 years old.
Yeah.
But I really like the fact that you didn't you see obstacles, but you overcome the obstacles. And we kind of always talk about how God orchestrates our path and how everything must happen the way that it's supposed to happen, so that you could be Magali here in 2024 and be able to tell your story and how you have been able to overcome. So I think that's awesome. Nikte, what do you think? Because it remind like Nikte did not have to work when she was 7, trust, believe. But her struggles have been different, when she came to the States, because I think she was 18. But so you could speak a little bit about that, Nick, there, about just the transition of being in a place where it was so different. And I think her brother, my cousin, was also with her, and there were no
Mhm.
adults nearby. So you can talk a little bit
Mhm.
about that.
Yeah, primero que todo, Magali, thank you por compartir tu historia and for sharing. I think it's so powerful to share stories of things that we overcome, and there is definitely something that people say about our communities, because we've struggled so much, we don't give up easily, and we don't see that as an option to want things to magically happen for us, because we've been kind of unfortunately conditioned to have to work hard from the things that we see our parents, our families, and especially with your story. So for me, um, I was in my dad's from Mexico. Yo también nací en México. Soy chilanga. Mi mamá es colombiana, sí, pero me crié
Yo
en
nací en el
Venezuela.
DF.
Ah, sí, mira, chilangas, estamos en compañía.
Ándale.
Um, pero yo me crié en Venezuela. So I lived in Venezuela for, I think we got to Venezuela when I was 4, 5, kinder. Yeah, 5.
Yeah, 5.
And I was there till I was 18. And I was very lucky to go to a school, thanks to my dad's job, that was where they taught us English at an early age. So for me, I was incredibly blessed que el lenguaje no me costó,
Yeah.
but lo que se me hizo tan difícil when I first came here, and I would come and visit Vivi or Viviana and my aunt in the summers, and I was like, okay, this is great. And what was so shocking for me was la cultura. Just like you experienced too, también, we were I was in Houston. My dad was already in Houston, and that's where I went. I went to college there, and I thought it would be easy to fit in because I saw other Latinos, and when I tried to speak Spanish, me hablaban puro inglés. And I knew they spoke Spanish. It wasn't that like they didn't I knew they spoke Spanish. And so I felt very como que me pusieron en un rincón, like I just was in this weird bubble that I
Mm.
wasn't sometimes Mexican enough for some communities, and then I barely found any Venezuelans, and then Colombians. I wasn't Colombian
Pero,
enough. So
okay.
sí, I was like, no
No eres
encontraba
ni de aquí
como,
ni de
sí, ni
allá,
de acá,
like,
ajá, de
yeah.
todas partes, pero de ninguna parte que digo así fuerte, ¿no?
Sí.
Ah, pero yo creo que esa ausencia de sentirme parte completamente de una parte es lo que me ayudó a explorar más mis culturas, a amar diferentes partes de mi cultura. So I learned to love different parts of my culture because of that absence. But it
Mm.
was very hard because I was very, very naive, and I made a lot of silly, stupid mistakes. That I remember one time I got a telemarketer calling saying that I want some sort of like cruise. And they're like, all we need is your phone number and your credit card. And I was so excited. And I told my dad, and he was so mad because they ended up charging us like $300. And at that time, it was hard for my dad.
Yeah.
And so he said, well, you're going to have to learn and you're going to have to fix this. You're going to have to learn to fix this. Like, so a lot of things were very different to how I was used to in Venezuela, with being able to do some things, or um, kind of being self-sufficient, pero también, you're a lot more aware porque hay más crimen, unfortunately. So you're a lot more. I caught myself being in situations where like, oh, I don't feel safe. Aquí la gente era como si nada. So it was a lot of cultural shock,
Yeah.
a lot of racism. Y antes yo me quedaba callada. Now I think I'm a lot more open about things, and I learned to, instead of fighting fire with fire, you fight to help people que aprendan, ¿no? Entonces, para mí eso sí fue difícil, y luego en un punto mi hermano se mudó con nosotros. Mi papá lo tuvieron que volver a mandar, o estaba viajando mucho, so my brother came, because he I think he stayed in Venezuela till he was in, what is it, 10th grade? And so he came to the States for 10th grade, and even he said there was a huge difference going to high school in Venezuela than
Sí.
here in the States. O sea, él me contaba cosas and I was like, "Oh my God, that's so crazy." O sea, yo me quedaba en shock de las cosas que él vivió, ¿no? Que es tan diferente a las experiencias que tuve. So it was definitely a lot of learning. You feel like you don't belong a lot. And I think until I found people that accepted me for all the little things of that made me, is when I
Yeah.
started feeling, okay, I can belong. But I really felt lost for many years. And where I started rebelling was using color y cosas así. Ahora uso más cosas de mi cultura, mis útiles, cosas así.
Me encantan tus lentes.
Ay, gracias. You can change topics.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was like, they matched the background. I mean, she did it on purpose.
Those are her Que Pasa Mujer glass, her frames.
Sí,
We need to get them as a sponsor. Pero sí, me encantaría hacer una pregunta en cambio de como ser una hermana, tener tus siblings, tus hermanas, tu hermano. O sea, hay veces uno siente que es como la mamá, ¿no? Por los siblings, de cuidarlos. ¿Cómo hay algunas cosas que tuviste que sobrepasar, things that you had to overcome by being in that mentality, things that you've noticed you encounter now to what you are doing now? Por ejemplo, hay veces que sientes que necesitas ayudar a toda tu familia, eso me pasaba
sí,
mucho.
sí.
Cosas
Como,
así.
como que tú te sientes like, okay, like I'm the responsible one, I'm the mature one. If I know that, my brother or my sister, my siblings, if I know they're struggling, I'm like, okay, what can I do? How can I help you overcome this?
You're the
And you
problem
feel,
solver.
yeah, so you feel like esa responsabilidad de, okay, like they need me. I need to do something, because they going through something. And I don't know if that's just like, como que el feeling de un hermano, like it's just like it's your sibling, they going through something, or if it's la mentalidad de, como dices, o sea, desde muy chiquito you have to be mature enough, like, como te digo, I was like, okay, I need to wake up, I was what, like 12 years old maybe, like wake up early, get my sister ready, feed her, llevarla a la escuela, go back to my house, get ready for school, go pick her up, llevarla otra vez a la casa, then go to my escuela, and like, o sea, you grow up like that,
Yeah.
then
So
to
are your siblings here, or are they still in
yes, they
Mexico?
came here, and that was the reason why I came here, because I mean they left me, they left. So, and I was like, okay, you know what? So I'm here. Yes, I was going to school. I was working. I was going to school and working. And but I also, like I said, I was there, and I was like, okay, like my family is not here anymore. Why am I still here? And I think it was just mi parte rebelde. Like I was just being rebellious. I was like, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. But then, I realized, okay, like okay, they are not here, I'm here by myself. So what are you here? What are you waiting? You know?
Very interesting. So, okay, so you got here and then you were with your family, with your mom, with your siblings. And then at what point, I guess, have you seen the transition of who you are today? So you could tell us a little bit about your real estate and, your kids and your passion. Because I know when you and I kind of talked on the phone, we talked about your wanting your gift to help other people.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I got married 11 years ago, like, so I created my family, I have my family and all that. And then, like, I don't know, I always been, like I say, I don't know if because the way I grew up, but for me, it's always like, okay, how can you help someone? Like you wake up and it's just like, okay, what can I do today that can help someone? Like, como que tu pensamiento, I don't know. That's the way I just think, you know. So, like I said, I got my GED. I took English classes, and I wasn't an expert, and I'm still not, on the language, speaking and all that. But I was just like, hablaba lo suficiente como para ayudarle a una señora a translate, a interpretar, like, oh, es que necesito una cita. Oh, I can help you. I mean, even though if my English was todo mucho or, like broken or, my accent, I was like, okay, I can help you. I can help you with that. And then when I got married, I start babysitting again because I was like, okay, no puedo dejar a mis hijos, like tu mentalidad de, okay, I need to be there for them, you know, cuidarlos and stuff. So I was like, okay, for me, I cannot go out and work somewhere, but I need to contribuir o hacer dinero de alguna manera. So mi mente era, okay, I can babysit. I can babysit. And I remember people telling me like, okay, you need to charge more, because babysitting is a lot of work. But I was like, because I knew how it was, like I knew if I charge more, like they won't have enough money for their bills, I was like, no, if I charge this, for day or per day, whatever, I mean, that's enough for me. And they don't have to give me todo su cheque, they don't have to give me like mitad de su money or things like that. So, and that was another thing, like, okay, I babysit, yes, for, like contribuir para mi familia, but I knew that was a way of me helping them. Because, like, to dejar a tu hijo somewhere that you don't know that person, like to trust someone with your life is really hard. So that was another way I saw it like that, like that was my thought when I was doing that.
And you were worried about the other bills they had to pay, which you had no idea if it was true or not.
Yeah, but like I say, I
Right?
used to, like, cuando yo llegué aquí, it was like we used to live in West Point, like un little pueblito, un town, like the places where you used to work. I mean, they used to pay you like $7.50, $8 per hour, So I work at all of those places, and I knew how much they were getting paid per week, or I had an idea, and I was like, well, I cannot charge more than this because I don't want to take all their money, because I know they have to pay rent, bills, gas, babysitter, comida. So in my mente, it was like, okay, like just enough for to cover, whatever. And then I help them en cuidando los niños. They help me contribuyendo a mi hogar. So that's, help para los dos.
That's good.
Sí,
So we've been stalking you a little bit, right? So we want to play like this really short video about your goals for 2024. So
Ah,
we go ahead and play that, Mark. So I love it, right? Well, Nikte and I both love it, and I'm not even asking her because we love colors. But
I
it's
know.
nice when you do that. So I'm sorry. I think Nikte, were you gonna say something?
um Se me medio fue el avión. Give me a second. Mm, Oh, I think what I was saying is that lo que me encanta de tu historia es que es tan centrada en empatía, de ayudar uno al otro. O sea, it's so focused on empathy, helping others, and knowing that other people have struggles and seeing that and not wanting to take advantage of it. I think that there's so many people out there in the world that are like that, que saben y se aprovechan. Y yo pienso que eso es algo tan hermoso de nuestra cultura. Hay veces nos detiene un poco, pero como gente de que ayudarnos a nosotros, I think that's one of the most beautiful qualities that we have within our community is doing that. And I love that you found a way to still provide for your family, but not on being present with your children. I think that that's so beautiful. I felt the same way. I think that that was something that I struggled with, that I felt very lucky that I didn't have to go to a job where I had to go leave my children. Nunca sabes. So yeah, I definitely, some people don't have that choice, but I think that that was a blessing that you were able to do that y que pudiste proveer y yo pienso que ese fuiste, aunque tus hijos no vieron, o sea, aprenden de cosas, como fuiste tan fuerte to be able to do those things at the same time. So, qué lindo que compartiste parte de tu historia.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. So tell us a little bit how you got into real estate. Like, how did that come about?
Well, like I said, always, like thinking, okay, what can I do? How can, like, what can I do that will, my first thing is always like, that won't take me away from my kids. Like, I don't want to, like I said, I don't, that part of me, that's my first thing. My priority is like, okay, what can I do that can, help me uh provide, or, like, contribuir a mi casa, that won't absorb me, and will take me away from them, because I know they growing, they need, like, they need su mamá. My husband, he works a lot, really hard, and I love him for that, and that's my pensamiento is like, okay, he's already away from home, so why would I take, or why would I go away, like, to do something. So that was the first thing, like, okay, I need to find something that will, keep me presente con ellos, but that will educate me, and that will help me educate someone about something. And in our culture, like, a lot of people, vienen de sus países, they work hard, they work a lot, they save money, they want to do something here because, they've been here for 20 years, and they want to do something, and they want to build something here, but they are like, okay, a lot of people, they don't have, social security, they don't have papers, or they don't have the status that they need to be able to, oh, that's the way they think, like, I can't do this, I cannot build my future here because I don't have what I need. And that was something too that I wanted it to share, with people, like, hey, even though you might not have the status that you need, but I mean, you still can build something, like, so I wanted it to educate them in that part, like, hey, tienes una posibilidad aquí, si ya no te vas a ir a tu país, you can be here, you can crear tu hogar here, you can buy your house here, like, you don't have to pay rent toda tu vida. You've been working for how many years, and because I mean, I know people, they say that, like, I've been here 20 plus years and I don't have anything, and that was something too, like, okay, if I get into this, like, I can educate people on that, like, hey, yes, you've been here for how many years, but yes, you can still build your future here, el futuro de tus hijos, like, have a foundation for them, so that was one thing too, that I was like, well, I can do this, I can help people buy houses, sell houses, because I mean, for me, home is the most important thing,
I
and
love
being
that.
able to help someone with that, to, like, have their home. So for me, that's, I don't know, I'm just like,
I
you
love
know,
that. Tú le estás como escuchando tu historia, hearing your story. It's like you are helping people believe in the dream of why people come to this country, because it's a land of opportunity. And sometimes that fear, we've talked about in our conversation too, is sometimes what holds us back. But I love what's beautiful about your story is that you're helping people understand there are ways that they can do that. They can achieve their dreams, especially if they've been working hard and saving money to achieve that. That's really beautiful. And that's it shows the positivity of what it is to be able to come here, porque en nuestros países a veces es mucho más difícil poder seguir, tener logros, tener nuestra casa. It's so much harder. So I think that this is just a really wonderful way that you're finding, you found your alignment, and I give back, I help others, and it just are in the perfect space para ayudar a nuestra comunidad, ayudar a mucha gente and really kind of building their dreams, like literally from houses they found to that dream that they've been working towards. So I think that that is really wonderful. Before we move forward, I did see that Stanton, hi Daniel, thank you so much, and Enrique show up. Thank you guys for joining us. Quick shout out from LinkedIn.
Yeah, so this is a little bit of Magali's post. She's she does, I think, well, in reference to her post and her like, I love the picture that you have with the cell phone. It just feels so, like, I don't know what do you think, Nicole,
Call
on the
me.
marketing aspect, but it looks
Llámame.
so welcoming. It appears to be very welcoming, and like I know you already, and like it's like it's a positive step into like me trusting you. And of course, you weren't here, Nikita, but I said every time we have a show going forward, I'm gonna mention that Latinos spend $3.2 trillion in the United States. So you're definitely, in a realm when it comes to real estate to empower people to become homeowners and to educate them about what it means to purchase a home, right? The write-offs that we can do, the investments that we can buy instead of, because a lot of Latinos do their own construction for their homes and stuff like that. Like I know a lot of families, they purchase a trailer home, or they purchase a two-family home, or just a home for themselves, and they're able to do like their own work and their own improvement in their homes. So I made it my business to make sure that every time we have a show, we're going to say that we spent $3.2 trillion. But one point that our producer made before was how much of that money is revolving amongst us, right? So like, for example, if I'm going to purchase a home, let me purchase it from someone that is of my people so I can rotate the money amongst us, right? Which is the other piece that goes along with that is, do I like, is Magali doing a good job? Like, is she knowledgeable? Because I don't want to have to purchase a home with you, but you're not 100% knowledgeable or an expert in your field. So I think that that's one of the things that we question in reference to the trust issues that we have with one another, with our community. But I think you do an amazing job in reference to teaching people and exposing yourself to the homes that you sell. Because I think that's the biggest thing. Like for me, I'm in the educational realm, and I educate myself on education because I want to make sure that I'm on the up and up in reference to knowledge. Just like an accountant or a bookkeeper, they need to know like the tax laws because they change every year. And the same thing with Nick. Nick does graphic design, marketing, advertising, all that good stuff. So it's nice to be able to have a platform like this, where right now we have three women that are entrepreneurs and that we know what we're doing, because the worst is to be able to go somewhere to get a service or a product and it's trash. But all I'm trying to do is support my people. So I just think that I think that's awesome that you can do that.
I think that there's una pregunta que me encantaría hacerte, Magali, es el trust factor. Siempre pienso que está muy alineado con el lenguaje. That how we can align trust factor with language, because I think sometimes the language is always a barrier. I mean, I speak English, but I'm always learning a new word. There's things that I don't know that I'm like, oh, I didn't know that's what that was for. And so I think about when it comes to buying a house and all the terms and the legals, like that definitely has to be scary. So have you encountered a lot more people saying, ay, que qué bueno que hablas español, me siento ya más tranquilo que, or tranquila, that you can help me through this whole process? Can you share a little
Yeah,
bit about that?
definitely. I mean, like I say, even like I have like people that I know when I came here. Like the first thing they call me and say like, "Hey, I'm so happy for you," like because you doing this and all that. And I have so many questions. Like I've been here like cuántos años en este país, and I want to do something. Can I do it? And those calls are the ones that make me, like they make me happy because I know no, like I know them desde el día uno that I got here. They know my path, like, and they trust me, and that makes me feel happy. That fulfills my heart, like, like that trust. And yeah, and like you said, like they call me and they be like, hey, how first of all, how do I know if I can buy a house? Like, and then you share, and then como dices, I mean, you explain to them, and a lot of the times the terms they are like, no, I don't know. Even in Spanish, like mucha gente de nuestra cultura, even in español, if you tell them un term, they be like, I don't know what that is. And being able to explain that, and to describe that, and to poner un ejemplo, and como decimos, enseñarles con manzanas, and then they be like, oh yeah, I know now, I understand now. And at the end, let's say, of the conversation and all that, and they be like, oh, thank you so much, because like at the beginning I was like blank. I didn't know that I could do this. I didn't know that I do have an opportunity, and they have told me han dicho like, I call someone else, like I call someone else, I ask them this and that, but I didn't understand anything. Even if that other person spoke Spanish, they were like, no, I didn't understand what they told me. And they didn't take the time to explain it to me. And that's, like I say, that's one thing that I'm proud of myself, that it's not used for me to make money. It's for me to help them understand the process, and help them, like realize, hey, I can do this, like I can have something, I can be someone. And that's, what makes me, I don't know, it makes me really happy to be able to explain to them, and and for them to be able to understand. Because like I said, they told me like, yes, I, like spoke con alguien, y me explicaron y todo, or they just like gave me yes, no, or like short answers, but they didn't took the time to make sure I was understanding.
Because it's, I think a lot of that strength of what you've been through es lo que te ayuda a guiar a la gente, porque tú tuviste que averiguar muchas cosas sola, right? So you have to figure
Yeah.
so many things out on your own that you automatically know and use that. I think that's like one of your superpowers in what you do and helping people. And when you were talking about, I don't know how it just makes me feel really good. I think that that is what makes people who are in the space where they're meant to be so great at what they do. Energy que Diana with the education, when she talks about that, like she se ilumina, there's like that energy, and hearing you talk about your story, se ve, o sea, en tu energía. So I think it's so important when we work with people or we find services, especially with real estate, that we find that connection. Porque pienso que es como un tipo de relación, right? Whoever you're working with is going to help you find the right space. Is there going to be the
Yeah, like
all
you
that
have to
communication?
trust them. Yeah, I mean, it's about trust. Because, like, I mean, buying a house is something big,
Oh
and
my
like you
gosh,
say,
yeah.
sometimes like people is just like, oh yeah, buy this house. Because I have, like a conocido, oh no, yo compré esta casa, before I was a real estate agent or whatever. I didn't even know what was a home inspection. I don't even know if I had one.
Mm,
Like I don't,
mm,
like they told me that I have to pay like $70,000, and I didn't know why. And I, like, and things like that. Then it makes you realize, like, okay, yeah, there is a lot of people in our own culture, like
mhm.
Latinos, that they just, like you say, they know someone and they just take advantage of them. Oh,
Sí.
you have the money, let me buy this house, this is the best fit for you, whatever, whatever. But they don't explain to them. They
Mhm.
don't educate them through the process, and they just like, okay, yeah, ellos me van a hacer dinero because they will buy it. Yes, they have the money to buy it. They don't know anything. They won't ask questions, because they
Mhm.
trust you with, oh, él habla español, él me va a ayudar. He will guide me or she will guide me. And at the end, it's just like, I didn't even know, like that I pay for this. I didn't even have this. I didn't even do this. And now that when you are in the field and that you see that, and then when you talk to them and you realize, oh, yeah, compraron su casa, pero I mean, they didn't even, I don't know how they did it, like, because they didn't even know,
Yeah.
like, okay, no sé yo qué pagué, no sé qué no pagué, no sé qué me cubre, no tuve
Mhm.
esto, no tuve lo otro, so it's just like,
Yeah, well, people sell their homes and they'll buy another one and they'll use you. So that's the benefit of it, where we can kind of educate people as well. So who do you work for? Do you like
Coldwell
if
Banker.
somebody wanted to buy a house from you, who?
I'm with Coldwell Banker. That's my broker. And my phone number, I don't know if you have it there or not. It's 804-298-6492. They can follow me on my social media, if they want to stalk me first and then call me. If
Okay.
they want to know something, like, okay, let me just scroll. It's Magali Ledesma, you can find me like that on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere.
Okay,
I love
perfect.
that.
Also, I was looking on online, and they were just saying that over 2.3 million Latinos are homeowners in the United States. And I kind of wanted to, uh, I didn't have a chance to send it to Mark, but I kind of wanted to show you guys this graphic. Like you see, like the pink just kind of shows the increase of Latino homeownership in the United States,
I love
and
that.
fraction of the increase compared to other cultures. I'll send it to you, Magali, so you can look into it a little bit more. But it just says most new homeowners in the next 2 decades will be Hispanic. So you're definitely in the right field to be able to educate people to do it the right way.
Yeah.
I remember reading the book called Rainmaker. It's a really like short read, and it just talks about being, let's say for you being a realtor, like I'm going to be a rainmaker, and meaning usually rainmaker is like money, right? But I'm going to be a rainmaker of information for people, right? So I am here for anything that has to do with homeownership, buying a house, selling a house, getting a loan, interest rates, um, you know, file bankruptcy, because then that way you'll be able to buy two more properties, like the corporate world does, and not to be afraid of the relationship that we have with money, with finances. That you don't have to have a social security number to buy property. You could buy it under your tax ID number, and for
Hmm.
it to be a legacy for our other children would be
Yeah.
amazing to do that. Would be awesome. So one more question, because our time is almost up. Magali, what do you do? Do you have any other hobbies? Do you ride a bike? Do you cook? Like, what else do you do besides real estate and being a mom?
I
What
cook a lot. I
hobby?
cook a lot. I cook. I like to eat. And I do cook a lot. I like to bake. I don't ride bikes. I'm really bad at it.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, I don't ride bikes. I like to go to the beach. I like, like, and that was one thing that I wanted to do this year. Like, I wanted to exercise because I'm like my last baby. My last
Yeah.
baby made me, like, I just realized, like, okay, I'm getting, a little bit too chubby. I need to start, like, exercising. I need to do something, because I mean that's, like, a way for me to decompress, to desestresarme. And I was thinking that, like, yes, I need to get a hobby porque I'm just so busy with the house, with the kids, with work, with, like, also do interpretations too. So when I have the time to do that, I use my time for that. So, and I was like, well, I need something for myself. I need to do something for me to help me, like, reset for 1 hour or whatever, decompress, and then r- start again, fresh. But yeah, I need a hobby because I don't have one.
How old are your children?
11, 9, and 1 year old.
Well, we were in Mexico. You could put them to work.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, they do, like I say, they don't work, but I mean, we teach them, like in the house, they are in charge of, like cleaning their rooms. That's their thing. Their trash, that's their duty. They know they have to do trash.
Good.
Sometimes they do the grass, they cut the grass and all that. My husband, of course, trims and everything, but they do the yard, like, and when my husband, has to work or do things, I mean, he takes them, like they learning how to work. And I told them that, like, okay, you're getting older. Next open house, you're coming with me so you can start learning this, because I want them to have a foundation. I want them to have knowledge, to have resources, things that we didn't have when we grew up. I want them to have that, so
Of
they know
course.
that, to make something, to have a future. You don't have to work hard, 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 and save money. I mean,
Right.
you can do it in a smart way, in a different way, like, and you can help people with that. And yeah, I mean, desde ahorita they learning how to do things, and they learning the labor, and they learning other options too.
Good. Yeah. So
I
you
love
definitely have to
that.
find. So that's your homework. You have to find a hobby.
Yes, yes, I need to do
I'm
that.
gonna check on you by the end of the month. I'm gonna ask you what hobby you came up with.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, so we enjoyed you a lot today with the
Mm,
conversation, with your, the person who you are, the transparent, loving person that you are. I think
Thank
it's
you.
amazing. Continue to do a great job. Continue to empower our community. Where you're located. And I just think it's awesome that everything that you do, that you were this little girl that was in Mexico by herself, and now you're this powerful woman here doing all the things that you do. I think it's awesome.
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you
Right,
so
Nicte?
much.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much, Magali, for sharing your story. I definitely do think it's powerful, and I love how you said that you're teaching your children to learn those things, to learn that balance of knowing how to do the labor, but also not que te tienes que trabajar como un camillo, como dice una vez, you have to
Yeah.
work yourself to the ground sometimes to find success. But I love that you're teaching your children to, we essentially want them to have better things that we didn't, and you're doing that very much. So thank you so much for sharing your story, and for, I loved hearing how you're helping your community. So I hope people here reach out to you, and that you continue to do amazing work. Thank you so much for being here. Gracias,
Thank
Magali.
you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much to both of you for
yes,
your words. Thank you for your time and to having me today.
yes, we love it. So we always end our show with a poem. From Mari Garcia, but she's not here today. But we always have backup poems. Um, so we're gonna do the everybody. Thank you for watching us. And Nick, they already acknowledged everyone that kind of made a comment, and also Lili Matos and Angelica Rivera. They're always so proud of us in reference to just to being women and doing positive things. Because I don't know if I told you, Magali, but Nick Day and I are cousins.
Oh, okay. Well, no,
We're
you didn't tell me, but in your stories, I kind of realized that.
Yeah, we're first cousins.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
I love
So
that.
she was like my little sister. We're 5 years
Mhm.
apart. But my grandmother, she used to sew, and she used to make us
Okay.
dresses, and we used to dress like twins, even though we were 5 years apart.
Oh, how sweet.
And
We need
so
to find a picture to show on the show one
yeah, I'm
time.
telling you, we had
Yes.
this one dress with like little straps, and it was polka dots. It was white and it was blue or something polka dots.
Mhm.
If we could find that, your mom probably has that picture.
Yeah, when we go to Houston, I'm gonna see if we can find it, and we'll put it on the show because we keep
Oh my
talking about
God,
it.
Oh,
yes,
yeah. That would be
yes.
cool.
Hmm. Yeah, so during my time in Mexico, I was with Nicte and her mom and her dad, and he was like my father while I was there.
Mm,
So yeah, so we're family.
yeah,
But we're
I
gonna
love
go
it.
ahead and we'll have your information, if people want to get in contact with you. And of course, now that we're social media buddies, I'll
Oh
always
yeah.
share your information with the
Thank
community.
you.
And thank you again. And then we'll be here every Sunday at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, wherever Nicte might be in the next couple of weeks. He will be with us as well. But thank you, Mark, so much. Mark is our producer, and we couldn't do this without him. But we're go ahead. We're ready for that poem, Mark.
Thank you,
I,
gracias.
Gloria Gaynor, the shit out of this life. I'm a survivor, a child, destined to thrive to be remembered. Words I immortalize in this poem so that I never forget I have to stay working hard. You see, they keep pushing back the finish line, thinking giving up will be my only choice. But they keep forgetting where I come from, that I am a French colonizer, as I am Taino, as I am slave, that I can muscle my way through the finish line, or I can verbally slap you with my intellect. In Espanol and English, yes, I get tongue twisted time and time again, but that's from all the verbs that I have bending in my head.
Yes,
I call you hijo de puta or son of a bitch, all in one breath. I'm sorry. Excuse me, I keep forgetting what I was gonna say next. Concentrate. I am concentrated coffee before it became Americanized. Café Americano, like the Caribbean sun, I will always shine. I am black girl magic, passed down from my black grandmother through my white mom. To get a clear picture, a mix of different races, that is how Dominican I am. I am the dopest line in a poem that makes you want to say, rewind. I am the exact vision of the future my ancestors had. I am the point of reference next generation will always look back at.
Let's
I'm
go.
a poet, a mother, a sister, a friend. I'm a work in progress. I am the promise that I made to my past that my future will be great, but in the present, I'm still downloading. And I can't wait to show you all what I have coming up next.
I think we still have a little bit of seconds on here.
That was a
nice.
nice poem.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're just
She
waiting.
is
for
very
Mark to
honest.
commercial, but we're-
Powerful.
Mhm.
You should go watch her live, Magali.
Oh yeah. I need to do that.
I'll let you know when she performs locally.
Where are you guys located?
I'm in Hampton.
Yo también.
Yeah.
Ahorita I'm in Las Vegas for a couple
Oh,
more weeks, and then we're moving.
nice. Thank you. That was nice.
That was nice. Thank you, Mark.
There are a lot of words I would use to describe my daughter. Kind, strong, hilarious. When I think about how much she's experienced in her life, we can't help but be inspired by her every day. So really, we're the lucky ones. Learn more at adoptuskids.org.
Okay, Dad, look at you.
I look nice, don't I?
I see you.
Adding your own flavor to fashion comes with age.
Oh, man, that's the best one yet.
Forgetting how to add doesn't. Finding it difficult to work with numbers may be a sign of Alzheimer's.
Dad, are you okay?
An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one.
All right.
High school. Yeah.
Hey, Dad. Do you want to talk about what happened earlier?
Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's. Some things come with age, some others don't.
We are sending you signals every day.
We are sending you signals every day.
We're sending you signals every day.
We're sending you signals every day.
I'll be feeling sad, but you're too busy to notice.
We are sending you signals every day.
I'll tell you that I'm feeling afraid, but you'll just tell me everything's okay.
I'll get real angry about something, but you'll take it personally.
We are sending you signals every day. My grades will drop.
And you'll yell at me for not trying.
I stopped caring about how I look.
And you didn't even notice.
We are sending you signals every day.
I don't see my friends anymore.
And you think it's good that I'm always home.
We are sending you signals every day.
I'll tell you, I wish I could go to sleep and never wake up.
And you tell me to stop staying up so late.
We are sending you signals every day.
I need you to look.
I need you to listen.
And ask me if you can help.
Are just so impressed with them. Like I said, we've been with them for years. I will recommend and refer anyone to them. We stand by A+ academics. They're the best.
A+ tutorial really did help me with all my grades. They all went up when I came to this place. And I would say I recommend this school to everyone.
So it's a really good environment to be in, especially for me because it makes me look up to my parents.
If you have students that need academic help, A+ Academics is the place to be. A+ Academics, what a great place to go for academics.
It's just a really great place to learn.